Good afternoon. Welcome to PJ and the Beard. This is our 19 Conversations episode series. This would be episode 52. 52.
You think after 52 episodes I can figure out which direction?
Right. And in the chat, David, I got it in Messenger. I'm not sure where you posted it. I missed it. Somehow I missed it. Sometimes that happens, but thanks for letting us know. Thanks for sending it over to the Messenger thing. So we'll be pulling that up. Today, I don't know. Let's do this. Excuse me. Friday, we have Rocky Rothrock, who at one time was the president of the Blues Society of Central Pennsylvania. At one time, he's held some other roles in that organization. He's been running the jam there for, gosh, who knows how long. I met Rocky way back when the Blues Jam was still at the Low Keel Hotel, and that would have been back when I first started my career as an educator. So, I mean, we're talking that jam's been going on for 20-some years probably. So Brian Landreth had suggested that we do a episode on, like, what do you need to know before going to a blues jam kind of thing. And he goes to jam. So we're going to actually have Rocky and Brian get on the show and kind of talk a little bit about, blues jammings, but, blues jams, but also, just about like kind of jamming in general, I guess. So that should be interesting from some guys that have done a lot of that. In the chat, Dave Timlin's here, Paul Ewing, Brian Landreth.
And a surprise. There's a surprise in there.
Brody Hutchins. I see Greg Platzer jumping in over on Facebook.
That's the one.
Yeah, Greg is the owner of BCR Music in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Guitar Tech to the Stars. If you go back in our field trip episodes, I think we do an episode with him. There's an episode of BCR, and then there's an episode just talking to Greg about fixing guitars. So, and what he does, and showing off and name dropping showing off some of the guitars he's fixed and name dropping a little bit there too. Za from Brazil. We haven't seen you in a while, Brazil, Brazil. We haven't seen Brazil in a while. But hey, Za, what's happening? So, very cool. Very cool. So where do we start? Do we start with a clip? Are we there?
We can't. Yeah, I was just laughing because Paul Ewing says he's here for the young and the young and the restless, young and the reckless, whichever. And other people were referring to us as their 4:30 fix of Oprah. So whatever you need to call this hour of distraction to help you get through the day, you just go right on ahead.
It's Oprah time. So if everybody would look under your seats, one of you is the lucky winner of a free guitar setup by Greg Platzer.
Just send him a message on Instagram.
Just send him an Instagram message, yes.
He'll give you the PJ and the Beard discount. Or a bike boot in your backside.
This is a 10% overcharge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right. So for clip of the day, and I'm honestly going to show some ignorance here too, because I don't know this group very well, but let's make a Joe Bonamassa connection because we like when Joe's name comes up.
That's right.
I think one of the reasons people hate on Joe Bonamassa is because he is without a doubt one of the best self-promoters in the world.
True story.
Right? Like, I don't think a day goes by without an email from Joe. I don't think the day goes by without Joe showing up in at least my Instagram, my Facebook, or my Twitter feed. He's out there doing it. And this group is out there doing it too. And this is kind of how I know about them, because for some reason they always pop up. And then, once you watch one or two, they always pop up. But I really dig what they're doing. And so I thought we would show them. There's a lot of videos out there with them playing with the band, a lot of videos out there with them playing with or sitting in with other bands, but there's a ton of videos out there with them just sitting probably in their living room doing their thing. And so without further ado, as I stall to pick it, here's the clip of the day. Top hat, and I'm worried 'cause my water's bad. Black shades, white gloves, I'm looking sharp, I'm looking for. They're coming running just as fast as they can. Every girl crazy about a shot.
top dress They come running just as fast as they can. They come running just as fast as they can. They come running just as fast as they can. Every girl crazy about a shop dress.
So, as Larkin Poe, she plays a mean guitar. And then the other she plays a mean slide, and nice vocal harmonies and great singing, and just two girls that are putting out some killer music.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I hadn't heard of it until Jason sent me a couple clips. I mean, you can't listen to that without putting a little smile on your face here today. That's so. It's such an upbeat, happy version of that, but just a little bit of a twist. Just probably they're playing drop D tuning or something, and just kind of folky, but that like lap steel kind of took it over the top. It was cool.
Yeah, they're doing some cool stuff. And they've covered a lot of really cool songs. I think one of the other clips I sent you was Crosby, Stills and Nash.
I think that's right.
Clip, Southern Cross maybe. So yeah, I mean, they're doing some cool stuff. Go out, check them out, watch a couple of their videos. I mean, good guitar playing, good singing, all that. I really dig them. So,
back in the chat, Greg did make a comment that he beat me to it. He was basically saying he dropped all of those names with permission, and that's a true story. I was back then. I'm like, Greg, my favorite little thing I ever heard: drop names so heavy we can't pick them up. Just keep them going, because to me those were always interesting stories. Yeah. Go back and watch that. I don't remember if Brad Whitford's guitar was sitting in there that day or not, but anyway, yeah, lots of
the way I started to say that sounded like he was he wasn't showing off. I mean,
no.
Yeah. You told him to do it. He did have. He had a Strat from.
Was that Brad Whitford's? I think that was the one.
It was a Clapton Strat, and I think it was Brad Whitford's that he had.
Yeah, it was a green Clapton Strat that Brad Whitford had. That I think he was refretting or doing something. I don't remember. But yeah. Greg was saying, it didn't take him much to comply with the request to drop names.
Right.
It's a skill.
It is a skill.
So yeah, a lot of people commenting on the video you picked. A lot of positive feedback on that.
Best video yet. Wow.
There you go. All caps.
You certainly are the most attractive people in the video yet. All right. I don't think we've done any other women. So that wouldn't be, when you look at some of the guys that we've shown, it wouldn't be hard to be the most attractive people in the video that we've done. But yeah, those girls, they're cool. I've seen them sitting in with some major players,
So is that the gauntlet that's been laid out, that we have to keep finding better and better looking female guitar players for our clips? How do you guys feel about 80s metal?
I mean, there's Bonnie Raitt.
That's true. That woman can play some slide, man.
Right. That woman can play some slide.
I've seen her live a number of times.
So, where'd we go?
I think we go POD.
POD? POD?
Yeah.
What? Battle of the
So yeah, we the best thing about the thing that we're most consistent on is our inconsistency, right? Of how we pick a clip, of how we pick the pedal. This is a pedal that every time we start the show, I look over and I've got some pedals off to my right that I see. Full tone GT 500, minty fresh, hand built in California. That serial number I didn't look up to see how early or whatever. It's a boost overdrive on one side, it's a distortion on the other side, and you can determine which is first in the chain via this toggle switch up here. The distortion has the most. There's like a three-way EQ, and the overdrive boost just has bass and highs. Nice pedal. So I said to Jason, I said, we've had a ton of pedal builders on the show now, and I think one of the first boutique builders, perhaps, has Full Tone jumped the shark. It's interesting because I don't know if there was a bunch of backlash about Full Tone. I don't know a bunch of the backstory. I just know that it's always, 6 degrees of separation. But Josh Scott has some complimentary things to say about Full Tone to this day. So do you own a Full Tone? Have you had a Full Tone?
That pedal show, Nick on that pedal show would often basically says everything that he's ever touched by Full Tone, it's like the guy's in his head. That everything he's ever touched. I have an interesting history of Full Tone. I've owned a couple. I had a early on when I was first getting into playing, I had a full drive, which I sold, like one of the original full drives, which I sold not awfully long ago, a couple years, 2 or 3 years ago. And never really bonded with that very much. Then I got the Barber Electronics direct drive that I always rave about, right? And then I was in Ray's Music back when it was Ray's Music, and I picked up a Full Tone, the one you have, the OCD. And I thought, this thing sounds great. This is the pedal. I literally took it home, played with it. I'm like, it blows my Barber Electronic direct drive out of the water. It is great. Put it on my pedal board, put the direct drive in the box that I take to the gigs. When we went to the gig, played 3 songs, pulled it off my pedal board, put the Barber Electronics back on, and never went back. So my personal experience with the OCDs, I love the way it sounded in the room. And we've talked about this a lot. Sometimes things sound really good to you in a room, and then when you drop them in the mix, it's like something's not there. OCD for me sounded awesome in the room. When I got with the band, I couldn't figure it out. So, and this is nothing. It's Mike Fuller. He had a. I think I had one of his pedals that had a treadle on it, I think it might have been the Deja Vibe, like an early one, like one of the really big ones for a while. And it was before I had his tremolo pedal too. I have the smaller, the Super Trem Junior right now, but I had a Super Trem at one point too. And I think it was before I really understood how Univibe and tremolo worked, and never really bonded with each one of those, but they were great pedals. And we talked yesterday about pedals we regret selling. I kind of wish I still had both of those sitting around. Enough that I rebought a Super Trem. And I would love to pick up a Deja Vibe that actually had the pedal on it.
Yeah, that Super Trem sounded good. We did an episode on that before we decided we're doing a full-blown tremolo episode.
Right. And so we'll definitely come back to that, the full-blown tremolo. And it has some great features on it. It's an awesome pedal.
Platzer said he had to duck out because he's got to work on somebody's famous guitar, but keep doing what we're doing. I'm jealous. Of course, Paul Ewing would have some excellent stomp boxes, right? Because his title is Of Stomp Box Steels. I have a Full Tone Robin Trower overdrive for my Strat sounds.
Yeah.
Anything with Robin Trower's name on it would be good.
Yeah, I'd like to try another one of his Vibe pedals. He's a couple iterations of that, but I'd like to try. And if you never know, we might modulate into Vibe pedals at some day. So if that ever happens,
stay tuned. We'll get there. It'll be a warbly ride. Jump in.
So is there any other comments? Keep the comments coming about the Full Tone stuff if you love it, whatever. Definitely an interesting company. We've never even considered reaching out to Full Tone to come on the show.
Right.
I wonder how that would go. I've heard differing things, about him, and
it's just
he's a great guy, and other times I don't. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out for real.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because you could go out and I think pick up some full drives pretty inexpensively on Reverb. So I don't know. I mean, they're built like tanks. I mean,
you said before we started, he's kind of one of the OG.
Yeah.
Boutique, him. Back when I was looking at music toys, who were the big guys? Full Tone, David Barber. DLS Effects was around back then.
That's how you knew about him, right? Yeah.
So what else? While we're talking about pedals, do we pull up the pedal board of the pedal board of the day?
That's
no, we're gonna call this. I wish we could do like the Stinger things where you hit a button and it It's supposed to be like, are you bored?
That's right.
Are you bored of the day? I like that better than something of the day.
Right.
Are you bored of the day?
Mm-hmm.
I got to give it to 60 Cycle Hum. His series, his Affordaboard series was brilliant. That was a brilliant title for a series, Affordaboard.
Right.
Because we had thought about doing some of those cheaper pedal boards, and he beat us to it. That's one we missed out on. All right. I think I got the right picture here. Boom. So in the chat, Dave Timlin in the chat. And I haven't seen Dave in many years, but this is Dave Timlin's board. And I like the little Wallace. He has the black 10.
I saw that. So, yeah.
Dave, the only way that board could look better is if you had one of these.
It would be a nice color contrast to everything he's got going on if he had yours.
All right, let's run it. We got a volume pedal.
Yeah, that's where I kind of – and a Julia.
Looks like we got a loop switcher here. The Messner, that's isn't that your boy that makes that? Zach from Mythos.
Oh, yeah, Mythos. Yeah, I thought that's what that was. I wasn't 100% sure.
I'm kind of feeling, and Dave in the chat, you could help me out. These two maybe are both Mythos pedals. We got the Walrus Audio Julia, which is one of Walrus's best-selling pedals. They built their company. We talked about that in that interview on the chorus, basically. We got the buffer up here at the top. That looks like me. Just from the graphic, I'm going to go with the JHS buffer. There's a couple things on here I'm not sure. This is Walrus over here. That's that descent pedal that looks really, really cool. Think Angel pedal. Think maybe, what's it called? Ambient trail, shimmer reverb kind of stuff. MXR compressor. New neighbor, which I would echelon. Is it delay or reverb? I think that this one from Walrus is more delay or more reverb. So maybe that's delay. I'm talking out of my, do I go? Do not know what the Monda Green is or who makes it. Does it say Old Blood Noise at the bottom?
No. Some more of the Oklahoma brethren.
We've seen Old Blood Noise on a couple pedal boards. Maybe there's another.
Well, and I think Colt and Keeley all know those guys. It's another Oklahoma group, right?
Right.
Colt said there was some relationship there.
So Old Blood Noise endeavors Mondo Green digital delay effects pedal. So there's your delay. And down here, this red one, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what that is. So I'm thinking drive 1, drive 2, drive 3, swell, delay, reverb, chorus. What's TNR?
Tuner.
Tuner.
The life-size Polytune.
The life-size Polytune. The red is a Walrus high gain. Okay.
We should have shown your pedal board the day we had Colt on. We got bonus.
What's here, this is interesting because I have a thought. What style of music is Dave using this pedal board?
Yeah, because there is nothing pedestrian about that board at all, aside from the tuner, and aren't all tuners relatively pedestrian. Everything else is. Well, maybe you could use a Barber tone press instead of the MXR, but can't.
You might want to check out the Barber tone press instead of the MXR. That might not be a bad. So, what are we using it for, Dave? What style of music? I have a suspicion.
Death metal jazz standards.
He actually uses it for my worship on Sundays, right? And that was my suspicion. So, Pat and I, who play in a worship band every Sunday, probably not too far from you, David. When you see couple drive pedals. Well, you see a compressor, couple drive pedals, some kind of delay, and then a some kind of ambient reverb, and then throw the chorus pedal in. It kind of screams that contemporary Sunday worship thing, which is cool.
It screams praise the Lord.
Gotta approve some boutique pedals, right?
That's right.
That's great. That's a cool board, man.
That is a nice one.
Right, because sometimes they're you're hitting everything without putting the $3,000 of Strymon pedals. Or you don't have like the Mobius, the Timeline. You can do it without doing that.
Right. So what guitar drives this board, and where does it go out to? So what's on the front end going in, and what do you run this into?
It smells like worship team spirit. And I always laugh because we do not run the typical worship boards either. And then Brody is like, he plays every Sunday too, but he's a guitar into an amp and maybe an attenuator or a delay pedal. He's really
right. He said the under picture is under glows I put on it. That's what I thought. I was telling Jason I saw the pictures. I couldn't remember where I saw them, and that the second picture I thought was the underside of the board. And anything that glows underneath, I'm game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So what guitar and what amp? I don't know if I've seen an answer to that yet. No pressure, but.
So while we're waiting for an answer from that, the guitar and amp for this rig, just a reminder, if you go to PJ and the Beard on Facebook, get a message or send us a copy of your board. And guys, it doesn't. I mean, I feel like some people are like, I'm not sending it because I don't have 6, different boutique pedal board manufacturers. We don't care,
right?
We don't care. I mean, like it could be whatever. Whose board was it the other day that had a bunch of relatively inexpensive pedals on it? It was a really cool board.
Is it Pete's? One of Pete's?
Pete's, yeah. So go ahead, send the boards over. Give us so we can continue our Are You Bored segment.
Dave said a Fender Duosonic and an orange 30 RT. Nice.
Awesome. If we get enough of those pictures, maybe I will do a rundown of the monster, ridiculous, embarrassing board that I have at the church.
Do we want to set a number for that?
No.
Put out a challenge goal there, like again.
No, there's no actual challenge because I'm really. It's embarrassing.
How many pedals do you think are on Mission Control? Make that the number. One pedal board picture for every pedal that's on that board.
Well, it's really not a lot of pedals. It's just the way it's set up is embarrassing. It's huge. It's like, but you know what? Every week when I walk in, I plug in, I have a little grin on my face.
And you use most of it.
I use all.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe I don't use all during one service. You could tell me if I'm wrong or not. But you use it all at some point, whether it be the jam afterwards or something. But
right. The only one that doesn't get used very often is the fuzz pedal. But I don't really like the fuzz pedal. But I'm thinking if we ever get to play live again.
Right, I think you found a new friend. Yeah,
I might like the fuzz pedal. Wait, let me get rid of.
Proven by the fact that it has cables plugged into it.
Let's get rid of Dave's board there for a second. Boom. Did I show the one that was underneath lit up? I guess I didn't. I thought I did. I changed it on my computer, but I don't think it changed it in the stream.
No, it didn't. There.
Oh, okay. Hold on a sec. Pause, please. Boom. There's the lit up picture underneath. Guitar Hack popping in. What's up, Hack?
So yeah, you were showing the fuzz. So I've got the same thing going over here. I've got a TL pedal with a cable going in and out, which means one thing. I've been playing it, and you also have the same there with the fuzz.
Right. So it would be interesting to take a camera over there and run through that board and just show people. I mean, it's ridiculous and it's embarrassing, and I would take a lot of heat for it, I think. Potentially would take some heat for it, but I'm not going to lie. I don't move it. So when you don't move it, size doesn't matter.
That's right.
And I love the idea. The idea was modular. So if I need to bring home components of it, I could bring home components. I just can't talk about it anymore. It's just, I miss it. It makes me smile every time I walk in. The cable's there. All I got to do is pull the cable, plug it in the guitar, flip the pedal board and the amp on. I'm good to go. It's a beautiful thing. I am not going to let people bully me over it.
You're not going to be board shamed? Brian Lander said he could build a board that sounds great with less than 400. True story. We've talked about that. Not that a million people haven't done it. We've talked about different boards that we would consider building, either inexpensive ones or ones with the least knobs or something. And we've got in our cumulative collection some more inexpensive pedals that could get some good sounds coming between Behringer and Donner and Blitzer and Comet and Cupid, all of them.
I got 2 one-knobbers on my desk right here.
I know. We talked about doing that, and the way this collection keeps growing, we could really set someone up to lose.
Yeah, 2 one-knobbers. We got our boost and our jive right there.
Right, and we still have the Little Boss chorus, right? That has 1 knob.
And we thought wouldn't it be cool to put a pedal board together with the least amount of knobs, but the most versatility, and we have some tricks up our sleeves for that.
We do. Well, you have the ultimate, which I'm not playing your hand, but the ultimate one or 2 at least 1.
I can think
2.
of,
yeah,
but we have tricks up our sleeves to make that happen.
Won't Dan and Mick be surprised when they lose?
The least number of knobs and most versatility.
Right.
The only thing that would be hard, I think, would be delay.
Well, that Donner is I guess the little mini knobs would have to count.
Like, yeah, there's still knobs.
Even ones this size would have to count. But
there's still knobs.
I know.
Delay would be hard. I don't think I've ever seen a delay pedal with no knobs.
What about a toggle switch? Does that count?
Most effect, least amount of knobs. No multiprocessors.
Brian Lander saying he's found some very high quality pedals that weren't terribly expensive. Most are under 150. I'm very happy with. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the nicer pedals sort of. What's that?
Dog paw. The least versatility and most knobs would be cool too.
Yeah. Would that be the old, 20 metal zones tagged together? Everybody likes to talk about.
Flashback.
Yeah.
1 knob delay. Ooh. We're going to have to start on the list. Mini flashback. Mini flashback is good because you can. It's a little cheating a little bit because you can connect it to your phone.
Right. So
who has? Well, don't forget. Somebody send us a board. We need a board for tomorrow. So somebody send us a board over. I don't think Hack sent his board. And Hack, you know how to. If you're still around, Hack, we'd appreciate it. That'd be cool. Because I'm sure people. He's shown his board on his channel 100 times, but
pre-stomp.
Right. Or if anybody has throwback boards, what was your board 10 years ago? I could probably pull a throwback board out of the hat. Maybe if we get a second here where I don't have to pay attention, I will look on the old phone and see if I can find the.
It's possible. Brian Lander said, if I had to have only one effective pedal, I can't live without it. It's my carbon copy. Yeah, Brian, I'm with you on that. I can't reach it over there because I'll disconnect myself. But yeah, for me, a coin toss between a Dan Echo and a carbon copy. And I can say that with great confidence because for a long stretch of time, when I first started being in charge of the whole band at church and not just a player, I went to pretty much a no pedal board. I had a Telly going into Classic 30 with a Dan Echo sitting on top of the amp on the effects loop always on, and that was basically it. So yeah, some type of delay tape echo for me. Dave Timlin saying carbon copy is legit, and Brody's even fallen into that hole because he played. I took one with me to Nashville one time when he and I were recording, and I mean carbon copies are great, and you can pick them up all day long for $90 or less.
The only reason I've done that is because of the DM2.
Yeah, and I have the deluxe too that has a tap, so I kind of like that.
Somebody mentioned that if they had a carbon copy with a digital readout, and the deluxe doesn't have a digital readout, but it does have a tap on it.
It has a small digital readout to let you know like what subdivision you're on. There's a very small LED screen in the middle. Oh gosh.
It was my first choice till I fell on the new neighbor. Dave, is your new neighbor the lie? Listen to that. That's too much. That's too much. Really did the corners.
I'll tell you, if you want someone to build a pedal board, doesn't come across, have my buddy Mike McInerney put it together for you. So there it is. It's got the display in the middle there. This one's probably almost twice as much, maybe, I think. It's got the bright switch on it and the mod. Well, the other one has, the mod switch on the outside. But this has the bright that can go between the two, more digital, more analog-ish sound. Mix, regeneration, delay, speed, and width. So the nice thing is, I don't know. I don't have my regular.
Is that stereo out or is that a external?
I think it's external. That's the only other thing too. I don't think it's an expression pedal.
And do you like that better than the other one?
I don't know if I like it better. Here's what I've said about my boards. I generally have 2 delays on my boards, and I have one on all the time with a little bit of a longer delay that I use more like a reverb. And then I have something with tap on it. So on my board from church, I have the TC Electronic Nova delay and Red Repeat.
Which that Nova delay is a great delay pedal, and it's older, but man, it still holds up.
And every time I think about getting rid of it, I go look at what they're selling for, and I'm like, no, I'll keep it. It's great. I've never used any of the presets or anything, but so you can see in the middle here, so you get the flash for your tap. Let me turn the effect light off there. So you get your
dotted eighth right there.
Yeah, your tap divide in the middle, and then your tempo is the other light that's flashing. So it's nice.
Brian's thinking Keeley Echoes, which looks great.
Yep.
You know which one really has me is that one from Walrus.
Was it the D1? Is that what it's called? The D1?
Yeah, the one that we were talking about with Colt the other day. That thing, I listened to examples. The first note he hits in the video and the way it trailed, I was like, that's the one. That thing is amazing.
Carbon copies sparkle too. Yeah, I mean they're nice, man.
Speaking of throwback boards, so if you want to do the throwback board, just in if you instant message us through Facebook, just tell us this is the throwback board. And I think I just saw come across my phone that Hack sent us one, and I hope he doesn't mind. We're going to hold that for tomorrow, but we'll try and hold it for a day when he's here. But we're going to hold it for a little bit because I want to have one for later. Here's my throwback board. So the board that I used, when I finally got this board together, and would have played this board from probably early 2000, forever. When I was gigging, this was it. Because I can.
True story.
That was the board. And that's the board that we have sitting over on the thing that we're putting pedals on late. Well, we started to put pedals on before this all went down.
Is that the floor at Klinger's, or what stage is that?
That is, I believe, Glifty's.
Okay. Well, you were down under, or Glifty's underground. Look at you.
I think that's Glifty's.
thought that was my kitchen floor from 1995. Yeah, you had a little bit of you didn't quite have the OCD you have now. That microvibe is buddying up to that octave pedal there.
A little crooked, right?
Maybe it couldn't stand the awesomeness of the direct drive. It didn't feel worthy, so it had to slide over.
Right. But there it is. There's the Barber pedal that we talk about all the time. There's the DM2 delay from Boss. So basically, it was a wah. You get the microvibe from Voodoo Labs, which to get a Leslie sound, if you crank the speed and if you crank that thing both up on both sides, you get kind of that Leslie-ish sound that I was looking for. The microvibe tone is great too. And the OC2, it's funny because you look at it, you got the dry all the way up, octave 2 all the way down, and just, octave 1 coming in just to fatten things up every once in a while. Look at the Morley. The Morley if the Morley didn't suck so much tone, I'd like to try one of their new wah pedals because they apparently have addressed that. I love that pedal. I'm broke for any wah pedal you have to step on and click on, I'm broken. Because the ability just to step on a wah and have it turn on that changes the way you use a wah pedal.
Yeah, because you have the G-Lab Wowie wah that we did a segment on. That was the first switchless wah I ever played, and they are pretty magical.
Well, you can do if you're doing a horn line, like in Shaky Ground by Delbert McClinton, it's kind of funky song, and there's this horn line that we stole, and when you play that horn line, you can step on the wah and play the horn line and step off the wah. It's beautiful. Speaking of which, why don't you move on to some? I'll let you decide. I'm going to throw you under the bus, Pat, and let you move on to something because Lori's calling real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. I was looking here that Paul Ewing was saying that maybe we should explore trying to get shoe pedals on. Chris Venture does cool stuff. He's done a couple of pedals for DOD, etc. So that would be interesting. We're always thinking about guests, not knowing how much longer our daily Young and the Restless shows are going to continue. Yeah, so do send those pedal boards. It's always fun to look at gear, and like I said, it doesn't matter the quality or the price. Just kind of like what works for you, and maybe what works for you sometimes has to do with the budget, and sometimes it's just like this is what works for me, and I don't care if people like it or not, right? We were kind of talking about the maybe the praise and worship world. I think there's definitely quite a bit of gear snobbery that goes on there. But for me, it's like what works. I have my mini pedal board over here that has 3 of the Moore Spark series pedals that are like $40 a piece, and then that's the same board that shares territory with the Carbon Copy Deluxe and the Tone Bakery and that kind of thing. So, yeah, when Jason said talk, I didn't think it was going to be this hard. I'm trying to go through the comments real quick. Dogpaw saying he's always had digital delay and digital reverb for decades, but I'm about to change back to all analog. Yeah, the thing I like about what some people are doing is they have the analog pedals with a digital overlay just to control them. Brody wants to know if the Beard's clock pedal kept proper time. I think that was how many bars the solo was that he was supposed to take. So that was stuck on 12/12. So Brian Lander sent us a copy of his board. We'll have to have Jason on the lookout for that. So yeah, still working on some other guests. Every time I feel like we're getting closer to getting Zach Boyles on from Mythos, his orders blow up again. Jump in his live streams. Interesting guy. Can't wait to have him on again. He worked for Carter Vintage there in Nashville, which was one of the greatest stores you could ever go to. And the Beard's back. I did like a tap dance and a top hat thing and a cane. And nice. I brought out a dog, a pony, and a monkey. So I'm out. I'm glad you came back just in time.
Well, it was my wife. Sorry to cut out. It was my wife calling, so she had surgery today. And I had heard from the doctor and knew everything was okay, but she was calling, and I just wanted to make sure I got to see her. But yeah. Crazy when she had her jaw surgery, and some of the people in the chat know about this, so I don't mind talking about it. When she had her jaw surgery earlier this year, she had gotten a blood clot after that. When they did the scan for the blood clot, they saw something wrong with her kidney. And so this surgery was to go in and fix the kidney. And what they did is, I'd love to see that technology. They used like robots and like laparoscopic robots and stuff to do it. And so anyway, that's what it was.
Somebody in the Dave Timlin, Dave, who's been a big part of today's show. Dave, glad you came to know us through our interview with Johnny, and I know you have a long-standing relationship with Jason. But in there, he said J Rocket pedals are good as well, and Brody was telling me about those as well. I think he got to play one that had a specific like Jeff Beck mod to it. I think they're based in Nashville, so there's lots of irons in the fire to try to. We're trying not to be. We thought at one point we were going to be a Leslie channel, like we're headed to the Leslie channel, and now it's like we're kind of being a pedal builder channel, but it's all good. One relationship begats another, and next thing you know, you got Bob Bradshaw on your show. So we just keep going for the opportunities that are in front of us and make some bold asks at times, and a lot of them have paid off. And I think the worst thing that's ever happened, we've gotten more no answers than a direct no, but we've gotten a whole lot of yeses. So anyway, Jason.
Yeah, probably more yeses.
Yeah.
Good point down there, and I don't know if I missed something because I heard somebody asked what big take echo do you have, and then I saw somebody had said you don't need. David said you don't need a $500 timeline or big sky to get decent tone, and I think he's right on the money with that. In fact, Pat and I have talked about like a million times. We buy these pedals that have like a million effects on them,
right?
And we use one. And so, case in point, I have on the permanent board a Source Audio Nemesis pedal, and I absolutely love it. It sounds great, and I use it for one preset. I have 4 presets on it. I have like kind of the long delay preset, then I have like the dotted eighth preset. Then there's this, before I had a shimmer pedal, there's almost like a shimmer delay kind of thing. That's just not really controllable that well. And then there's like this weird like auto wah funky delay that like puts like an envelope filter on the delay trails and can sound really, really cool. And I have used that like twice live, but essentially, even though I have a switcher to go through presets, I'm not interested in making a million different delay presets. I have like one sound to the point where I want to sell that and get their collider.
Yeah, the collider. You keep bringing it up. You even got to the point where you texted a picture of that to Brody. That's how much you like it.
All right, because the collider has basically what the Nemesis has for delay and what the Ventress has for reverb kind of built into one pedal. And right. I think we really use that. The only thing I'm not sure about is I like to have the DM2. I like to have the DM2 after the Nemesis and before the reverb. So I don't know how. I need to look at it and see if there's a way. I don't know if it has an effects loop in it or whatever, but I like that. I don't know.
Kind of on other news real quick. Ben Combs posted pictures of his TL pedals today, but he also posted a picture of his Lawrence Petrov's design Hayseed, and Paul Ewing just said Lawrence will be taking orders for 20 of his announced today Hayseed pedal. It is a Vox AC30 pedal.
Wow. That's cool. Brian Land, the Nux Atlantic is amazing. That's a delay and reverb too. I mean, the New X stuff is the New X rotary pedal we have is incredible. Like
it was really cool because it had the octave in it. Even without the octave, it was cool.
Brody said the Hermidia EPH3 is killer. Is that the reverb?
I think that's the tape echo. I think
the tape echo. Yeah, we have one or two of those.
Yeah, we do. We each have one. I'm trying. I can't see it.
Tape echo is really good too. The
Brody,
the faux tape delay from Wampler.
Right.
That's a good pedal as well. Brody, who might have rated pedal? You're not qualified, Mr. Hutchins. You and your pedals are not qualified to rate a pedal.
Although he's kind of like a recent convert, so he has all that new excitement.
He needs to build another wall in his room soon.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm sure his wife will thank us. He'll take the kid's train that runs around the ceiling at the house and put up a bunch of pedals. He doesn't have one of those, but Pete Hickson said he tried to send you a picture of his tape echo. You might get it. Jason, open the window so the bird can fly in with the note, will you?
Pete sends him carrier pigeon from
Australia.
Ty, he puts him in the pouch of a kangaroo and slaps it on the butt.
The new X mini reverb is killer. It's about $60. Yeah, so like you said, we have the Roctory, and then they send us the sort of cabinet modeler pedal, right?
I don't have it. Have the box.
Studio.
I don't know why the box is there.
He has the box, but not the pedal.
The pedal's over on the shelf.
Yeah, true story, Brian Landreth. That is a very true story. Not really many bad pedals out there, because that is absolutely true. Because of the inordinate amount of pedals between Jason and I, there's honestly only been one or two that I just could not make up to. Maybe two. Both of them were on the inexpensive line, but yeah, so many good things.
I have not heard of Tyler Morris, but I just typed his name into Google. Pulled up his official site. He is young. That's a cool Gibson he's playing, though. Dang on.
Pete Hickson has bad news. His pigeons are quarantined.
We'll have to check out Brad or Tyler Morris. I'll have to check him out. And he does make pedals right there on his official site. Makes one called the Brad Whitford.
Oh, okay.
Has one with Conan O'Brien holding it.
My kind of guy. Dogpaw, not a big fan of the screamers.
So I see Tim from TL Pedals is jumping on. We were talking about your pedals earlier. Both of us just happen to have a Go Figure one plugged in right in front of us, and I'm digging. Tim from TL Pedals, man, you need to up your game a little bit with social media, though. We need you to get on Instagram, and because I posted like a little clip to Instagram, but I can't tag you in it. So it'd be nice to be able to tag the company, and it would be nice. I did post it in the TL Pedals group. Pat's been playing with a honker over there.
Yeah, I would have held it up, but I would have had to unpatch it again. Yeah, Ben Combs showing you love, right? Ben must have gotten his in, and he's put them out on social media today. So, yeah, I've been playing with the honker a little bit. You are right. I don't the aforementioned tube screamers that Dogpaw's not a huge fan of. I don't. My other tube screamers are at Jason's to compare it to. Because you did say the honker probably had about 5 times the drive of the 808 that I have, and I'd say you're probably right. But it would be interesting to do. Not that we want to get into a whole tube screamer shootout, but we did get one of the JHS switchbacks, and with the red remote thing, it'd be interesting to A/B some of these.
Yeah.
Brian Landerson, Stinger Fuzz. That's all the rage right now.
Brad said he needs to get his daughter to set up an account for him on Instagram. Right.
Yeah, just let her run it.
Right. It's good. I mean, we love him, Brielle. She should do that. Although she might be a little young, right?
Everybody lies about their age on.
Well, she does it for the company. She's allowed, I don't think.
Right. Well, I don't know what the child labor laws are in Canada. I'm sure it's legal.
Well, by the time anybody would get there to stop them, she'll be old enough.
Yeah, I mean, just say it was one of her chores. It's allowance for doing chores around the house. Brian Lander said the Keeley Red Dirt is his tube screamer. Pete Hickson, my doorstop is a Dean Markley combo. I remember right; those things were heavy.
Something the Dean Markley combo. What is the worst pedal you own?
I don't own it anymore. Brielle had to go fishing. Nice. Is that mandatory? I like that. Stay away from the bears, honey.
I think, speaking of like selling things on Reverb and getting rid of some stuff, I think I'm going to be able to clear out a couple more. But I really need to list some things because I think I'm going to be clearing out
some other fuzzes.
Yes, I can think of 2 or 3 love pedal fuzzes that might be heading out the door.
That's true. At one point, it looked like we were going to be a love pedal channel, and that's kind of slowed down a lot.
And they're good. The MK2, is it the MK2 I think I have that is a 2-knob thing, and it's good. The problem I have with it is you have to like really crank to get the sound that I want out of it. And what I'm finding with Tim's pedal is the PV Classic 30 is like on one. That clip I posted last night, the Classic 30 was like on 1.5. Now it was loud. I mean, I had the sustain up pretty high and the volume up pretty high on the pedal, so it was loud. But it wasn't like I still haven't hit an amp at a 30 watt, 40 watt Q tube amp. Pat knows like 3.5, 4. This is where I like to have like Fender Deluxe or a PV Classic 30, or like a Hot Rod Deluxe or a PV Classic 30, and I haven't hit either one of those amps with that pedal set up like this way, just to hear how I know it's gonna like be flipping awesome. So the MK2 might go. What was the other one I had? The little black one, the Bone Tender.
Yep, that thing was cool, but it was so loud, so noisy.
Yeah, I really like it
because it's in the small format.
Yeah, it's a real small pedal.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like, and it's a mix thing. I feel like you run it really. I mean, it sounds great. It has sustain. Ran it with the band. It's not there, or you have to run it really super loud. So.
Dave Timlin saying it will make him contemplate life changes and redo his board. So Dog Paw said the worst sounding pedal you ever had was a looper. No matter what it did, it sounded like me.
Sounded like me. Sounded like.
You had a delay pedal that did the same thing. I mean, just in full disclosure, I mean, it doesn't matter, but it was the Moore Shimverb. I don't know. I was, again, the whole worship space looking for that shimmer sound to do some swells or just kind of big chords or whatever. I don't know what video, and I still couldn't go back and figure it out, which video I watched to think that the Moore Shimverb was going to cover that territory. Because it was when I was building the mini board that's right over there. And so it was the small footprint. I'm like, sweet, let's get it. I got it in. I hated it. I even tried to just use like Hall, other features, and it just never, ever liked it. No knock against Moore. I've got 3 other Moore pedals on that board. But that's one. And then the other one for me was the Behringer series, the really inexpensive ones. The one delay, was it the one? And it wasn't even because we were comparing it to the DM2. It was the vintage delay, was it?
Yeah, the one that's supposed to be like their analog delay.
Ah, man, I just didn't like that one at all. Those 2 pedals, honestly, didn't like.
But I attribute that pedal, the Behringer one, I attribute that to you being ruined by good delay pedals.
Probably, because that is my favorite effect.
And if you had never experienced a vintage like analog delay pedal before, you might have went, okay, this sounds okay.
All right.
And so I still think that that's a good buy for somebody that doesn't know delay and wants to get into it. The Shimverb, I'm with you on. And I hate to say it, and you're the one that let the cat out of the bag, because we have talked about in the past without ever mentioning the pedal we had that we spent an hour trying to make an episode for, and at the end we're like, we're not making an episode for it.
Mm-mm.
So if you think that we just lie and like we say good things about pedals, if they're that bad, we don't do it.
Well, it was both of those pedals were easy for me to say that because I have 3 other products from Moore that I'm using. The Behringer TO800 gives my original TS808 run for its money. So there are other pedals in that line. So it's not a knock against the company. It's not even a knock against that particular line. It's just those 2 pedals, man, just couldn't do it.
Yeah, Shimverb was awful.
It was terrible. And I think I sold it for what I bought it for. I don't feel bad about it.
The Soul Driver we did in the Leslie series was better.
Yeah, I think we liked it.
The sound was pretty good, right?
That's what I was going to say. I think we liked it more for the chorus sound than the Leslie, because we were so spoiled again by high-end Leslie pedals with a lot of features so that you could change. You could ramp and do different things. So some people are saying they want to get a TL pedals just to look at the wiring. Yeah, Tim does win the industry award for the neatest guts of a pedal.
Yeah. Oh man, that one cable.
Even the cable doesn't want to disconnect from the pedal. You got to give the people what they want. Is that a screwdriver?
I was thinking, because I was thinking about that. I'm gonna have to take a picture of it though for later, because I do want to take the back off to take a picture of it when we do the review, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to start doing some reviews. And I know that we want to get one of the TL pedals up high on that list of when we start doing some videos again. We have a bunch of stuff that was sent to us, so it's going to be hard to figure out that order, but I definitely want to get Tim's pedals up high on that list and get something out early. We might have to up the release schedule, right? Like we might not only be able to do 2 days a week when we start getting some out.
Just to say hi to James Severin. He's jumped in a little while ago, but I don't know if we ever acknowledged his joining in of the chat.
Oh, nice.
Paul Ewing is saying get Tim's Rat. The Rat pedal that he makes.
Number 568.
Nice.
Look at that.
It's the hockey stick with the handle.
Look at that.
No, would you look at it? Just look at it. You're going to have to go full screen if you're going to show him the back. Show it all its glory. There you go.
How nice that is.
I don't even know what's going on in there, but it's beautiful.
I know a little bit.
There's the power. There's the input output.
I know a little bit of what's happening. I mean, I know where the switch is. I know where the jacks are. I know where the power supply is. Once you get to the circuit board, I don't know, but that's all like through hole. I do know that. I mean, everything's pushed through those little holes. Look how nice.
Yeah, nice. The mojo's under the circuit board. You can't actually see it. It hides. Brian Landers. Brian Landers was saying we were 3 minutes late, so we owe him 3 minutes.
We weren't 3 minutes late.
You want the Dave Wiener exchange? That 3 minutes equals 37?
We weren't 3 minutes. We were maybe 30 seconds late.
Right, because I forget what we were trying to figure out last minute. Oh, wait, that's right. Everything.
Thoughts on line 6? Which line 6?
Yeah.
You can't ask a question like that with 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, he's someone sent him a private message saying we got to get them to go more than an hour. Brian Landers is poisoning the well in there, telling everybody. Although, don't let Jason fool you. He went a full 2 hours with Ben Combs. No.
Subliminal messaging.
Tim's Rat with the telly is dead cool.
Line 6, real quick. Hack, who was in here earlier, sent us a picture of his pedal board. Who was an analog guy. I thought, we've been calling for an intervention for Hack for a while now because he went out and bought a Line 6 Stomp, I believe.
It's the same group that we sent to Este's house when he did the same thing.
I don't know. I mean, they're cool, but the Steelix, the Stomps are cool. Line 6 makes great stuff. The green modulation pedal is good.
That delay pedal is legendary.
The tone core that we showed the other day, the rotary pedal that we did in the Leslie series was really good. We'll find out if the tremolo module for that is good because we have that we can switch out. It's all good. I mean, I don't want to play without an amp. The day I went to one rehearsal one time at my last church. And they took my amp and they put it backstage and they ran all these cables to it. I mean, they put it like backstage, like out. You couldn't hear it. It was in a hallway. And they handed me in-ears. and it was, and he looked at me and he said, "I want you to try it. If you don't like it, we can bring the amp back out." We were 2 songs in, and Pat knows me well enough. He laughs at me. He says, he knows me well enough that if I'm not happy about something, it's like somebody drew it on my face. You can tell right away I'm just not happy about it.
I just can't believe you made 2 songs, but go ahead.
So at the end of the second song, he looked over at me, and I literally was at the point of packing my guitar up and going home. I mean, that's where I was. Like mentally, it was like, this is miserable. The in-ears thing, the amp not in the room. Like I was like, why am I even doing this? I'm going home. He looked over at me, saw my face, and went, "We'll bring the amp out for Sunday." And
The fact that you
yeah. Well, there was one time before that he plugged me into a Line 6 pod, one of the old Kidney Bean ones, and he had like the floorboard and stuff for it. And that same feeling.
Hack wanted to clarify that it was the HX effects, not the stop.
Okay.
We get our modelers mixed up. Brian Landis was telling Tim he needed to make a clear enclosure. You can see the wiring, but Tim gave him the scientific answer. The aluminum closure is dead quiet for shielding, though. Just have just a plexiglass back, or just like a viewing hole.
Pete said, "Right with you, no amp, no play." You know, and it's we're over an hour, so this might be a good discussion to continue at another time. But there's this in that world. Here's what I'll say: in the worship world that we tend to play in a lot, there is a feeling that if you would go with no amp, no play, that you're not a team player and you're not doing it for the right reasons. And here's what I would say to that. This is the last thing I'll say today, Pat. You can say whatever you want. My last point for today. If I'm not having fun playing in whatever situation you put me in, I shouldn't be there, because when you get in front of a group of people and play for whatever reason you're playing, whether it's at a jam, whether it's a show in a club, whether it's a concert, whether it's a praise and worship event, it doesn't matter. Whatever situation you're playing in, you are there for one reason, and that's to entertain people, I would say. Well, that's not right. But you're there for your attitude has to be in the right way to be able to accomplish whatever your mission is, right? So I have to be a little careful, because you're not there in church on Sundays. You're not there to entertain people, right? You're there for a higher purpose than that. But you're there to move people in some direction, whatever. If you're not in a space where you can do that in your head, then you shouldn't be doing it. And so, Pat, when you take the amp off the stage and plug me into a modeler, it was nice playing with you. And
yeah, if I ever needed to get rid of Jason for any purpose, that would be it.
Just getting rid of amps. You got to play through a Line 6.
I have to laugh because Brian Lander said if Jesus played guitar, he'd have Marshall Stack. I think he misunderstood that for when I was talking about the Waco Netflix series. That's what David Koresh was playing through a Marshall
with a flying V.
Because Jesus would play at Mesa. That's why.
Yeah, he would have a 60s Fender. Anyway,
yeah, he'd play a PRS through a Mesa. That's what Jesus would do.
What was made first?
Right.
We're all a copy of an old Fender, right?
Oh, yeah. Peter would have a Soldado. No matter what Thomas had, he'd be like, "Is this good enough? Is this right? Should I have this?"
So, hey, Dave, thanks. Glad you found a place to hang out, man. It's nice to hang out with you too. That's great. It's great.
Michael McInerney, he's slipping in. Our buddy Mac.
Told us not to stop. Don't come for the last 5 minutes and tell us not to stop.
That's right.
You know what you are, Mike. McInerney and I played a lot. He had a band. I sat in with his band. We played a lot of blues jams. Here's who Mike McInerney is. He is that person that stumbles into the bar at last call and looks at the band and yells, "Play one more," after you've been playing for 4 hours. That's who he is. You're that guy.
And then you call him up on stage and he plays 3 more. Because he knows every song ever written.
Johnny Eline.
Yeah. This is great, man.
God would play a high watt.
They'd all use shimmer, though. I'm just saying. Sainticaster through a holy marshal. Well, I definitely know that they wouldn't be able to use my Voodoo Lab pedal power or my Buddha Wah. I know that those two would be out right away. Or a Screaming Demon or tremolo.
I did want to give. Oh my gosh, it's 1:05. I wanted to give one update quick. And you're all ready to end. I took my walk today with the dog, and I called Gary Harrington, and Gary and I talked for about 50 minutes. And so, those of you who were here yesterday, I showed that Pelham Blue SG from 1965, and so we talked for about 45 minutes. Not all about that guitar. I really called to see how he was doing because I was thinking about him. He's doing well, but we do kind of have that blessing to, if we come up with a direction with that guitar, like, whatever happens to it, and so we have that kind of blessing. And I did send those pictures to Brody yesterday, and I know he's going to look around a little bit, and
that's what he called me about after the show.
Yeah, well, then he called me after he called you, and I texted.
Okay, good.
And then, so Mike McEnany, who's watching over on Facebook, at some point in time, I might run over and grab that from you so we can maybe get more pictures if we need them, but it doesn't have to be anytime soon. So, with that, if you're new here, thanks for coming. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that because that helps us out and helps us keep getting more cool content, right? People are saying yes because you guys are subscribing. If you didn't say hi and you're just out there floating in the background and lurking, we love you too, but it'd be nice if you would, join the conversation. And
David Barber.
And so with that, I think that's it.
Yeah. So with that, I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Somebody's going to make the live stream effects pedal.
Yes.
Tim 10. See y'all later.
See ya.